FuzzJockRadio!
Hut, hut, hike! And we are back. This is FuzzJockRadio. I am your host, Fuzzy. We have our host,
James.
Our host,
Sea.Dubbz.
And our special guest host,
Al.
with the most, Al. Yeah.
most
We're
Al.
back. And wow, that was a quick, really quick introduction. I don't know if I've done that quick before. But we'll keep going. Don't let that bother you, Fuzz. We're back. Episode 8, I believe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Episode 8. You know what that brings?
We're available on iTunes.
You knew exactly what I was going for. Wow. We didn't even talk
Great.
about that.
No, you sent that to me in a...
I did send that to you.
A
Well, no, yeah. But yeah, iTunes. We're on iTunes now,
Yeah, that's...
which is great. So
We're available in more.
on Spotify and Google Play and YouTube and your favorite podcast app. And we will be on iHeartRadio real soon, like in a week or so. So keep an update on that. Keep tuned to the website. But we're not really here to talk about that too much.
We got to talk about sports.
We're talking about sports. And before we start talking about sports, let's talk about our day.
Oh.
You like that? I like that. How I should begin the segment that way in the future.
Talk about
Segue
it.
to sports and then away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why not?
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. People want to know how we are, I think.
People do care.
I think people care.
Yeah.
Why would they tune in? So, JMS, how was your week?
Well, it was daylight savings happened this weekend.
Yeah.
I took great advantage of the time. My friend Jordan came to visit, and
You got an extra hour, right? Is
yeah,
that how that
and we
works?
used that extra hour to lay down some linoleum tile in a room that I was taking the carpet up on.
Very nice.
Fabulous.
So you did that at like 2 a.m?
Well, we started probably like closer to 12:30 or 1.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Did you get it finished?
we got it finished,
Because
and,
of
it,
that
and it
extra
looked
hour.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah, that's nice.
we used that extra hour to get the job done.
I like it. I
Mhm.
like it. Sea-Dubbz,
awesome.
how was your week?
Mine was good. At work, we've kind of slowed down because baseball's over. So
Mhm.
we haven't had that much to do. So we invented a game called Jack Toss,
Oh,
which is a new sport we're inventing and we're trying to market, where you take a pallet jack handle and you try and bounce a rubber bouncy ball through the handle. And that's it.
It's very
If you can get it through, you win. And it's single man elimination. That's it.
points?
The points, there are no points. You just either win or lose.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's new.
And you get a rebuttal if you score. The person who's about to lose can rebuttal, and then they win actually if they make it right away.
so you're kind of like borrowing some rules from beer pong
Little bit.
a little bit. Sounds
Little
very
bit.
particular. What kind of
It's very easy how it actually works, but the game itself is complicated as hell. It's very hard to bounce it into the handle.
I imagine it's kind of a small area to hit with a small object
Mm-hmm.
off of a bounce. There's so many variables.
Yeah, but it's really fun.
You're a madman.
We're trying to turn it into a real thing. We're trying to get sponsorships by Marlboro.
Oh,
And
Getting
Wow.
back into sports sponsorships.
I think
It's
we're
like a-
trying to get into sports. No other sport seems to have cigarette sponsorships, so we thought we'd be open to it.
I like that. I like that.
Okay.
I don't remember again what I was going to talk about this week. So we'll just go over to we have our special guest host Al here.
What's up?
How are you doing?
Just fine.
James brought you in, found you in a gutter. James says,
Yeah, well, that was earlier today.
"Yeah." Just drag you out.
I've changed my ways.
So yeah, James, you lead this.
Oh,
little
this is my friend Al.
conversation here. Yeah,
We've been great friends for several years. We've played music together,
nice.
and
Lately, we play a lot of RBI Baseball and RBI Baseball 3 on the NES.
Oh yeah, Jameis has been talking about that
We've
RBI.
got a very good rivalry going.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about Jameis's scheme with the Yankees?
Scheme. Oh, yes. About trading everyone for catchers on.
Yeah.
That's RBI 19, right?
That's what you want. You want someone to catch the ball. If you can just have everyone catch the ball, then they're never going to win.
I love that. I love playing a sports game and just skeeving teams I hate.
That's great. So we'll get into the NFL. This is Al. This is Al. He knows about football. He knows about sports. Jameis.
He knows a lot about sports. I've learned so much about sports from this guy.
Yes. And so let's get into this. Monday Night Football once again. I'm just guessing sucked, right? Like I don't know if I've seen much of it.
You were focused a lot on the basketball game, which is good.
Yeah,
we need to have perspective of all those sports.
Mm-hmm.
It was looking good to me.
It looked pretty good. It was pretty good, but the best part of it all was there was a cat.
A cat.
What?
Yes. A cat ran on the field during the game, and it was totally awesome. It was the best play of the whole first half of the game.
Where did this cat come from?
Hang on. Back up. What color was it?
Yeah.
A black cat.
Oh.
All black.
Perfect timing for this time of year.
Running across the Giants field as they were driving down the field, and then they basically didn't do anything afterwards. So I think it was a special cursed cat the Dallas Cowboys brought with them.
So the black cat just gave 50,000 people 7 years of bad luck.
Ooh.
Crossing the path.
Ooh.
Yeah, including viewers of the game, so probably millions.
Good thing I was watching the basketball game.
No,
You don't have bad luck now.
that bad luck doesn't work through screens.
I did see a picture of this I was going to say kitten, but it's not a kitten. It's a cat.
It's a beefy cat.
It's big. And one that you don't want to fuck with. And I'm guessing that's why they didn't do anything with it, because it looked like Mean Streets from the New York,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scrapper.
Could have been a Maine Coon.
So the cat saved in Monday Night Football. It was actually.
I'd say it did. It kept it interesting. I kept hoping the cat would come back. Mm-hmm. So I stayed glued to my television, anticipating another cat play. But there was no other cat play. But it was, for a Monday Night Football game, I'll give it a pass.
Okay.
I won't say it was good. I won't say it was bad, but it passed as a football game. It was at least a football game.
That's a lot better than what we could say from.
Normally it's horse shit. Yeah. So I'll take a football game. Football game over horse shit. So, and the cat was really good.
That's good. Vikings lost.
Man.
Yes.
Yay.
Of
course they did.
Yeah.
You know who else lost?
The Packers.
Packers lost?
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Booyah, Chargers.
You know who else lost?
The Browns?
No.
Yeah, well, they did.
Oh, yeah, they did.
But yeah.
Okay, who else?
A bunch of other teams lost.
Yeah, like half of them lost.
Basically, every team in the NFC North lost.
Yeah.
The Patriots lost.
All lost this.
Is that what you're going to go for?
Yeah, Patriots
There
lost.
you
There you go.
So, a lot of losing in the NFL this week.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of losers. I mean...
So many.
Exactly half of them. Every single time. You'd think the league could do better after, 75 years?
Yeah.
One thing that was great, though, is at least a loser team is not a loser for once. Miami Dolphins.
Oh,
They won their first game.
they haven't won one game at all, yeah. That's great. Good job, Miami Dolphins. Oh.
Yeah, they did it.
Did
they
they?
beat the Bengals to the first one with a win.
Yeah, congratulations.
Good
Was it?
job.
I don't think the Bengals won in preseason either.
No.
That's pretty shabby, actually.
I imagine.
I've seen the games. They try to play. They try. Just doesn't work.
They're there. They show up. That's,
there,
that's
yeah.
80% of success.
I'd like to imagine this Miami win being like a 0-0 game until like one of the defensive players for Miami like falls and trips and like lands on the quarterback and gets a safety, and then that was the game.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, that's totally what
No,
happened.
I'm pretty sure. I'm remembering it. Yeah, that was exactly how it happened.
Yeah. If you try to look it up on YouTube, though, I bet they changed all the footage.
Nah, they probably blacked that out. I'm
Yeah.
sure no one went to the games. No footage of it exists.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to watch the Vikings game again, but from what I hear, it's like everybody keeps on coming into me and saying that it was like a disappointing game, and that kind of strikes me like as in like it wasn't like it was a close game, or like like what happened during that game?
It was close. The problem was mostly with Kirk. They tried putting the ball in his hands, and Cook just could not get going. And every time Kirk had to make a big play, he'd overthrow the receiver in a perfect route that they ran, or they'd be open in the end zone, and he would just sail it.
That Diggs miss was brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty bad from him this week. That was the major flaw in the team. And then giving up that huge run for Kansas City when we had the lead was a dagger as well.
Mm-hmm.
That was Damian Williams who ran that touchdown. I believe it was 91 yards. We let him go. It was terrible.
How would they do that?
Was Thielen back?
Thielen was back, but he got taken out of the game immediately, basically.
Why is that?
His hamstring.
Oh, so he's not fully healed yet.
Nope. So
that's not good.
Yeah, he might be shut down for long term now.
I think previous to that 91-yard scamper, their longest rushing touchdown up until that point was like 3 yards.
Yep. Yeah, they were not doing very good as far as their rushing attack went in basically in the season. And then that play happened and made it look like that's all they do because of how badly our defense broke down on it.
Wow, that's not good.
It was there for them to take, and they took it. Which another crazy thing I know we were going to talk about this. The one of the wide receivers caught up to their running back during the play, and actually beat him to the end zone.
Patted him on the back.
What?
Yeah, and he patted him on the back as he ran into the end zone with him, and his shoulder went in before the other player did. That's how quick he ran on the field. But they clocked him in at I can't remember what exactly the speed was, but it was the fastest speed a player has run on field this season.
That's insane.
And it wasn't the guy that ran in the touchdown.
He was just chasing down his own player to go, good job.
Yeah. Oh, dude. He was so excited to do that.
Yes.
It gave him like
Tyreek
super
Hill was a
speed.
monster.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that was interesting about the game. Otherwise, yeah, a lot of missed opportunities by the Vikings.
Yeah.
They hung around, but it should have been shouldn't have been as close.
Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't ended up being a blowout, and it was just a field goal, right?
Yeah.
So that means with the Patriots losing, the Browns losing, Green Bay losing, Vikings losing, and looking at the standings here, that means that the 49ers are the undefeated team.
Mm-hmm.
And the Saints are 7-1. Yep. Which I like. It's like I had premonitions, man. Like all you can check out our other podcasts. I've been saying it this whole time. Not everybody's going to be undefeated the whole season.
Except, well, the 49ers are going to go undefeated until the very last game.
Well, I didn't mention any of that. I'm just saying.
Until the 49th game.
Ooh.
As the prophecy.
And then they'll play the Bengals, and the Bengals will get their only win against the 49ers.
I love that. I want that to happen.
Yep.
The Bengals are
The Bengals will get one win this season. It will be against the 49ers.
Undefeated team.
Oh, they are 0-8. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Poor
They're
guys.
miserable.
Poor Bengals. When do they play? The
I don't
49ers?
think they actually play.
They don't play this.
No, that's not been
They
proven.
hypothetical.
They could meet in the Super Bowl, but they can't do that either.
Right. Yeah, I think the way that it's going for the Bengals, I don't think the Super Bowl is out of the question this year.
So, yeah. So the 49ers are undefeated. Who knows if they're going to keep going like that. And there's another team in football, not specifically the NFL, that's undefeated, and that's the Gophers. The Minnesota Gophers currently are, is it 8-0?
Just as everyone suspected at the beginning of the season, they'd be 2 games up in the West over Iowa, over Wisconsin, and having a legit bid to try and get game day to TCF, which is amazing. Like I said, just like everyone predicted at the beginning of the season.
Yep, it's on our show. We predicted it.
Yeah, no, the Gophers have been really impressive. They haven't played anybody in the top 25 yet, and that's the big knock on the Gophers right now.
Okay.
But a lot of those people that say they've just run through inferior competition. Well, if it was so easy to go undefeated, why doesn't everyone do it? I guess.
They're dumb.
Oh, the Mankato Mavericks or the MSU Mavericks, they've been doing good at being undefeated a couple times as teams.
Yep. Yeah, I believe that they MSU played in the national title game in 16? Something like that.
Was it 16? Nice. I thought it was 17, but maybe it was 16.
So what's with this team that makes it them so special?
Well, they've got a coach that knows what he's doing. For one, Fleck was, I believe, at Western Michigan, and had an undefeated team there. And that was 3 years ago. And he went to the Gophers and actually took a good number of recruits away from Western Michigan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So players seem to like him a lot. He's kind of a goofball, which I don't care if they're winning. That is the least of the things to criticize somebody about. But yeah, the Gophers have been rolling. They've been beating the teams that they ought to beat. But there's a stretch of 4 games at the end of the season that will really show us if the Gophers are good or not. Let's see, this coming week they have Penn State, who I believe is ranked 5 in the AP. The CFP rankings aren't out yet. They come out at the end of this week. So that's really the only thing that ends up mattering at the end of the year.
Sure.
But they're playing a team that is right on the fringe of the college football playoff. So Penn State will be bringing their A game for sure. And this will really be the first team that the Gophers have played this year that are anything close to good, and they're very good. And right after that, they play Iowa, who is very underrated. They're always a tough out. After that, Northwestern, who you never know what you're getting with Northwestern, but sometimes they'll play really good, Purdue style. And then after that, they play Wisconsin. So 3 of those last 4 games are against extremely tough opponents. And in that way, I feel like the Gophers season is actually just starting now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
They've played so well to this point that, your hopes are only higher for the next competition to come into play.
Right. Well, playing Penn State this Saturday, Fleck he did a lot of begging for game day, and he made a legitimate case for it because it's 2 highly ranked teams, not just top 25, but top half of the top 25 that are playing together, and that's somewhere where game day hasn't gone yet.
So I heard a little bit about that. Explain, I was just perusing through NPR or something like that, and I heard that he was begging, and then the Gophers didn't get it. What happened? What exactly happened with that?
Well, he actually right after the game was over against Maryland, which they had crushed Maryland. I believe it was 52-10.
Yeah, it was huge.
I watched that game from beginning to end, and it was utter domination at all times. I think nice. Antoine Winfield Jr. opened up the game. He cracked the game open with a pick 6.
Nice.
Or an interception that got very close to a touchdown. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, Winfield's been an absolute boon. He's the son of Antoine Winfield of the Vikings, the cornerback, longtime cornerback for the Vikings. And Winfield Jr. actually, a little bit of trivia for you. He is looking to transfer out of Minnesota. I believe this is his third year, and after his freshman year, he was looking to transfer out of Minnesota, but his father, Antoine Winfield Sr., talked him into sticking around.
Cool.
That's awesome.
I like
And he
that.
right now leads the NCAA in interceptions. So,
Oh, dope.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
yep,
That's so cool.
that's pretty good.
And so, okay, so they won this big game, and
Yep.
then the coach, like, what did he do?
Oh, he right after the game, he went out onto the field, and there's the ESPN2 reporter
Yeah.
shoving a microphone in his face, and almost the very first thing that comes out of his mouth is, "Give us game day." He's like, "We want game day right here," and he started just listing off like reasons. You could tell he'd thought about it. And like compartmentalized all of the arguments. He's like, there's 4 million people that'll show up here in this metro area for game day.
that's funny.
It's not going to be a flop. You've got 2 undefeated teams, doing everything he can to try and make a case for game day in Minneapolis, as opposed to going to the number 1, number 2 matchup, LSU, Alabama.
Oh, I like that. That's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah, and he actually didn't stop either during the post game interview. Where they sit the coach in front of like the banner and like have microphones, and you can never hear the questions people are asking and blah blah blah. No, he went on probably a 5-minute like rant about we want game day. This is why it'll work. This is why it rocks.
Is he like, I'll bring a boat and I'll row it through the parking lot?
Yeah.
During game day.
These are
No.
all the reasons, man.
Well-
Come on, give us. Have we ever been on game day?
No,
Okay.
it's really, really hard to get game day to go to.
It's more like big colleges like.
Well,
Penn
they
State
want
and
to
stuff like
be
that.
at the biggest matchup of the week.
Yeah.
And actually, another one of my favorite teams, the Iowa Hawkeyes, when they played the Iowa State Cyclones earlier this year, game day went to Ames, Iowa. So that was strange. So it's not unprecedented for them to go to.
But this is like Notre Dame or like Penn
Right.
State and stuff like that.
Yeah,
big colleges.
In college football, you've got the blue bloods, and you've got a lot of teams that recruit and on the prestige of their program.
A lot of money involved. I'm guessing.
Yes, there's a lot of money involved, and so it's kind of rare to see game day really ever go to anything other than the very premier matchup.
Yeah, I get that. I don't like it, but I get it.
Yeah, in fact, I think the
And
only reason.
So then he begged, and then everybody just started making fun of him, and then he didn't give it to him.
No.
Wow. Oh man, that's
Very rude.
And what do you think of that personally? Like, what do you personally think about getting snubbed for game day? Or do you think it makes sense?
Honestly, I never thought that it was coming. I'm a realist. It would have been really nice, but it's okay. I think they got Big Noon instead, which that's still good. National.
I was bothered by it just because, like you said, like they've done it before where they've gone to a smaller market game over the big game. But I mean, it is hard to turn down 1 versus 2. Like I get that, but I'm still disappointed that we don't get to have game day, college game day with people with the big heads and all that stuff, jumping around.
Yeah, it makes sense. 1 versus 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just not as cool as here, though.
No, it's not.
It's not
Well,
as cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
We
there.
could play some
Yeah.
Prince music in the stadium and everything. Did he say that? Did he mention that Prince is?
Yeah.
from
He
Minnesota?
said, by the way, y'all remember Prince was from Minnesota, so
"Come on."
come on over.
I can't believe that didn't work.
And I know what.
Yeah. So the Gophers are definitely the team to watch this year,
They've been doing extremely well.
and especially right now in the season when the big names are coming up.
Right. If there's any time to hop in on Gophers football, this is probably the best time in like 20 years
And
to watch them.
Clearly.
Winfield's a player to keep an eye on, and who else?
Their quarterback Morgan has been tearing things up lately. They've got some really fast receivers.
Is it more defense?
Right now their offense has been clicking pretty hard. It's Tanner Morgan is their quarterback.
Okay.
Actually, one interesting thing is the Gophers offensive line outweighs the Vikings offensive line.
Holy shit!
By actually a damn sight.
Those are big boys.
They have one guy, Falele is his name. He's like 6'11" and like 410 pounds.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, wrecking crew.
Play offensive line, man. It's your calling.
Yeah, that's something else. Those are some big boys.
Yeah.
Huge.
The Gophers have been running the ball exceptionally well.
Okay.
In fact, I believe over 5 games in the Big Ten, they either lead the Big Ten in rushing or are very close second. Yeah, Morgan's been hucking it. Their passing game is quite good. Defensively, you've got a really good young secondary, and that's also the thing with the Gophers is there's a lot of youth on there.
Nice. So players that potentially will stay around too for next season.
Yep.
Nice. I'm excited. I'm going to start tuning in. Saturday games?
It's Saturday.
When's that Penn State game?
The I'm not sure what time of day the Penn State game is. I believe it's big noon. So that's Fox's block of college football programming.
Sure.
I think there's a noon game or 11 o'clock game here in the Central, and then
this
2:30
Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So it's 11 a.m. your guys' time.
Yeah. Yep.
So 11 a.m. Central.
Make sure I can wake up.
We'll see if they can do it.
Yeah,
Nice.
that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm not really big into the college sports. And it's nice to be able to jump in when your team's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
There's something enchanting about college football, my friend.
That's what I hear. And
It's I to avoid the payment issue is a tough thing. But these players are out there and they're not getting paid.
yeah,
They're doing it because they love the game. Most of them are going to be CPAs at the after they graduate. Not everyone's going to the NFL, so
Yep.
they're playing a game that they love.
Yep.
And the skill obviously isn't there in college football as much as it is in the NFL. Like I'd say probably half of all the big bomb passes you get in college football are because of absolutely exploded coverage.
oh sure.
So there
Yeah.
it's really fun to watch. I can root for a lot of teams in college football, whereas in the NFL, I just root Vikings.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about
I can see like the not as professional type of thing being a little bit more fun to watch, and that kind of goes along with what we do here, where we're not fully professional, and we just kind of go along at the seat of our pants and just try doing things kind of like college football as well. We don't get paid to do this either. At the end of the day, we all have jobs. Jamez does his thing, and I work at a smoke shop, and Sea.Dubbz works for the Dodgers.
I brew beer.
You brew beer, and
It's really good beer.
Yep. And so yeah, I totally get that because we just do this for fun. And if you listener like the what you're tuned into and like what we're doing, you can and you want to, and if you want to, you don't have to. We'll just keep on doing this anyway. But if you want to support us, you can always support us by going to FuzzTalkShop.com and purchase our merch. We have hoodies and T-shirts and a bunch of different accessories and stuff like that, where there's a profit margin that we set up or whatever. So then some money comes back to help pay for studio space and audio space on the internet and all that stuff, and pay royalties for all the music that we play. And that's something that you can remember, that we do also have music playing on FuzzTalkRadio.com 24 hours, 7 days a week, with live shows hosted by live people.
They are alive.
Yeah, it's cool. We have Digger Radio on Sunday nights from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. FuzzJockRadio's on now. There's a fuzzy playlist that is FuzzJockRadio's, Monday nights live at 10:30 right after the Monday night football game. A fuzzy playlist is live on random times, and then we have a brand new show coming up this Thursday with Ryan Rudd from the Rockford Mules is going to be doing his show a rabbit hole Thursdays at 10 a.m. So lots of different content for you to enjoy, and if you like it, buy some of our merch and tell people to tune in. If you don't want a hoodie, even though it's getting cold out, because you're cool like that, that's okay.
Yeah.
You
can just listen.
Cool like that. You know what's cool like that?
I'm cool like that.
Baseball World Series going into Game 7.
Also me.
Oh, yeah.
I am cool like that.
Oh, yeah.
In addition.
Game 7.
Baseball time.
Yay!
Yay! And after this episode, I guess we won't have much to talk about because the World Series is done.
Yeah.
I did go through 7 games, which is awesome because then you don't have a team just dominated another team or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The Nats won.
Mm-hmm.
The new old twins.
The old twins
Yeah, that's
won.
right.
Yep, we brought that up last week. Was that last week or maybe the week before? I don't remember, but the new old twins. It took me a moment
Yeah.
to understand what he was saying. As in
The new old twins.
4 days later, I'm
Right.
explaining this to one of my friends, the new old twins, and I'm like, I don't really get it. And then I'm looking and then I send Sea.Dubbz a message, and I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, explains it. I'm like, I still don't get it, friend that's sitting next to me. He's like, yeah, that's kind of strange, but I kind of get it. And I'm looking at the words. And then the words like a puzzle start moving around, in that Nicolas Cage movie, National Treasure.
Yeah.
Like hieroglyphs moving around.
You were
into
hacking the
different spots.
mainframe.
Yeah. I was in the Matrix, and the green dots started coming out from the text, and I realized how that works.
Yep.
Yeah, it took a while, but the new old twins, the Nats, won the World Series in Game 7.
6-2.
What's that?
6-2 was the final score.
6-2 final score in Game 7.
Good job, Nats.
Seemed like a pretty even match game. It was like a real game. Nobody's really dominating each other. There's home runs. There was good pitching.
There was a World Series first.
What's that?
And I was going to share this, but since I was just going to relay information that my friend Al told me, you informed me of this World Series first.
Oh, yeah. Well, go ahead.
Oh, okay. This is just that every game was won by the visiting team.
First time ever.
Yeah.
That was a first. Sea.Dubbz and I were having a conversation about that earlier. We weren't sure if it was a first or not.
Yeah, they did the opposite of what the Twins did in 87 and 91. Twins won all their home games.
Oh, cool. Well, that's a fun fact. That could be on Fuzzy Trivia next week.
Yeah. Now that's happened
I'm
going to
remember that.
Yeah.
And win.
The
That had to be
Twins won?
frustrating for the Astros. Come on, man.
Suck.
can't win one game at home.
That means they were also up 3-2 at one point.
Yes.
Well, it's bringing it home to
Ooh.
lose the World Series.
Yeah, that's not fun.
And they even were gifted a game by Scherzer getting hurt that one with his neck tightness or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So he wasn't able to pitch that one, but then he came back and pitched the great, was it 5 innings in Game 7?
That was something I was going to bring up too. Is like because I remember him getting that hurt. Is that like with 7 games, you have so many players to pitch, and if one of them gets hurt, then that makes it even less So, like, it was with it going into 7 games, it must have been a battle of the bullpen, is what I'm thinking,
That's the funny thing. I mean, for the Astros, they used a big array in their bullpen, but for the Nationals, not really. I mean, they used their bullpen, but they mostly stuck with their starters for the majority of what they did. It was their starters who did or prevented damage for them. I mean, they would put in Corbin into the equation. They'd play Strasburg over 120 pitches sometimes. They'd put Scherzer 120 pitches. They played it like it was the 90s, like it.
Whoa.
Even if they didn't last the whole game, they pitched more than 100 pitches, or it was old school kind of.
Well, if there's any time to let your pitcher just completely gas himself, it's the World Series,
Just let him blow his arm out if he wants to.
In the 90s.
Well, that's good. So good World Series, even though it wasn't the Twins versus the Dodgers.
Isn't Verlander's record in the World Series is kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he's
unfortunate.
I think he has 1 win pitching the World Series and against like 7 games where there was either a loss or a no decision.
And then that one that he won wasn't that the bullpen game for? Yeah. So he didn't even actually pitch against another pitcher.
Wow.
I'm convinced he's one of the all-time greats, man. But wow,
he's got stage fright. He pees himself a little or something.
He gets a little too caught up in the moment.
He's like, "Oh, I'm in the World Series. I'm embarrassed."
You're already like up in front of like 15,000 guys almost every day, in the stands.
Yeah,
how
that's
can
not
you get
the
more
World
nervous?
Series.
Yeah, I guess.
Like Grandma watches that, man. I gotta look
Maybe that's
good.
the thing. He knew Grandma wasn't watching, so she wasn't watching, and he was like, "Oh man, she's watching Game 3 of the NBA instead of watching the World Series." That's why he pitched so bad.
Oh yeah.
He's a big hoops head. I know she's a well-documented hoops head.
We'll get her on the show sometime. We
Yeah.
should email Verlander's grandmother.
We'd like you to travel to Minnesota and be on this podcast,
Dear
please.
Mrs. Verlander's grandmother, we have a sports show on the internet. Please come join us. We would like to hear your opinion on basketball. Yours truly,
FuzzJockRadio.
Sorry.
It's the start off.
I'm still here, guys. Don't worry.
Oh, hey.
Good.
Just like getting things lined up for the next segment here. Because we're getting to that point of going to basketball. But I just want to mention that even though baseball is now done, we will still have something to replace it, probably.
Oh, man. I'll talk about baseball in the off season.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love baseball.
Well, the baseball off season's like 5 days, right? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's like they start up Grapefruit League in like December or something. Garbage.
Oh, yeah, dude. We're gonna...
I mean, there's already stuff going on.
Yeah.
I did want to mention one thing quick. We did make an offer to Odorizzi.
Oh, really?
I heard that.
They did make an offer to Odorizzi, but we declined the option on Martin Perez. So just an update on our pitchers.
That makes sense.
So we'll still have updates about baseball. So listeners, don't worry since the schedule's done. Basketball, Timberwolves are playing without Towns for these last 2 games.
Why is that?
Because he got in a fight.
Oh, shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
So
Cool story, bro.
yeah, I'm just replaying the replay in my head right now. So he got tangled up with MB. I think that's
Embiid?
Yep. Do you know this? You know the stories, Sea.Dubbz. You know how to
I do
tell
know.
stories.
Yeah. So
Watch you
yeah, they
squirm.
got in a scuffle, and they got. I mean, like it
Okay,
started.
so like they
to kind
got
of
tied up, and then Towns swing,
And then he put him in a headlock, and then they got on the ground.
and then they
This
tumbled
was
to the
on
ground.
the court?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Underneath the Timberwolves basket. Like everybody else was going down the end of the court. Their team made a basket. Look, and they see them on the ground, and then so everybody rushes to the two of them, and another guy comes in and puts, while Towns is on the ground, puts him in a chokehold, and you can see Towns like tapping out, and then
Dang.
they break him up, and Mbe keeps this is at their home court.
Yeah.
So he keeps riling up the fans while he's getting ejected, and then Towns' parents are there, and they go over the railing and flick him off while he's going into the locker room.
Wow.
It was something else. Like,
I completely missed that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
wild.
That's what happened on the court.
that was
Right.
yeah. So then Mbe goes on Instagram or Twitter and was it Towns first? Was
He
it?
started attacking Towns, saying he was
Oh,
raised
he was-
around lions.
Yeah, the Mbe was raised around lions, and Towns was, raised around cats, or kittens or whatever, and just
God.
like fucking threw it out on Twitter right away. And Towns comes back and puts up a picture of Mbe crying after a playoff game. And he's like, "Well, I wasn't raised by bitches," or something like that.
Ooh, nice.
And then Mbe comes back saying something about, "Well, you got to get your facts straight, dog. That was a picture of me during the playoffs. You've never been to the playoffs." And it just goes back and forth for a little while. And they got suspended for 2 games, so the Timberwolves were going without Towns for the last 2 games.
Dang.
They got suspended over the Twitter?
No, it was on-court
Like-
antics. They probably
okay.
got fined for the Twitter beef or something, maybe. Who knows? I don't really know how that works with the NBA, but like you would in the NFL, I think.
Oh yeah.
Man.
But yeah, it was a big couple days worth of them going back and forth, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, that sounds entertaining. Probably the most entertaining thing I've heard about basketball this year yet.
Yeah, you know what's even more entertaining than that though is that the Timberwolves up until that point. And that was the funny thing too is that the Timberwolves lost that game too. So it was talking shit when they lost the game, but up until that point they were undefeated, and up until tonight they only lost 1 game. So they're doing well.
They were still undefeated at home until tonight.
Yes,
There you go.
that's
Until the
true.
Bucks.
Until the Bucks. I watched the full game, the first game, and it was a lot of fun to watch because you were sitting there. What are they going to do without Towns?
Right.
And Wiggins stepped up, and the whole team stepped up. They ended up having 33 assists throughout the game, 53.7% from the field, 17 of 39 3-pointers, 44 rebounds, which is fucking great, and then 56 points in the paint.
Getting under that board.
So they dominated. They won by about 30 points. I think I don't remember what the score was, but they did great. And then today they didn't do so well. We watched them in that game. They were down 30 points.
Yeah.
And
They were not getting under the board tonight.
No, they weren't. Like one of the commenters mentioned that the Bucks totally shut them down in the paint. So like one really good game and one really bad game, and you gotta wonder what did we see? What we saw, was that a fluke without Towns, or do we need Towns now? And
Damn.
I don't know. He's back next week, so
We'll see.
And this could have been something too, like you said. They were scoring so much from the inside the paint. The team could have easily been like, okay, let's stop that,
yep.
and that could hold us back a lot.
Yeah, they could have been. They did a good review of the last game's tape. Another thing that Al brought up was that you believe that they were in the playoffs last year.
Oh, the Bucks?
Yeah.
I believe they were in the finals, weren't they?
So a really good team without one of our star players. And
Yeah, they were at because they were basically they weren't in the finals, but they were in the conference championship,
The
whatever. They were
Western
they
Conference
almost went
Finals,
to the,
right?
yeah.
and then I keep on reading that the 76ers coach that we totally beat keeps on saying, yeah, we were totally in a fog the whole game. We weren't ready to play at all too. So like they played a team that wasn't ready to play. So
He's just making excuses. Man,
so I don't know. It's gonna be it's like I was saying. It's gonna be entertaining to watch the TWolves this year because they do have Towns. They have Wiggins, and Wiggins actually had a 25-point game today. So Wiggins has been doing really well, stepping up without Towns, which is a lot of fun to watch.
all those tweets are working.
Keep tweeting.
And that was your Wiggins update. So make sure to keep on tweeting to Wiggins. You know, you're doing a good job. Internet hugs and
Big ups.
and all that. Big ups.
Oh,
Big ups for the Wiggins.
So yeah, it'll be fun to watch the TWolves, I think.
Yeah.
Or it is. It has been.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
You time traveling.
A little bit. You know what's good about time travel?
What? There's several things, maybe.
Well, one, you know what's going to happen. 2, you don't know what's going to happen. And 3, I don't know.
You don't
Butterfly
know-
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of time travel.
The butterfly effect. That's when you don't know what's going to happen in the future, even though you were already there. Right?
That's when you change. You go back in time and you change one small thing, and it just like cascades into like a completely different future.
Yeah. So even though you were in the future and you
Yeah.
since you started cascading those events, you don't know what the future's going to hold.
Right.
This is a
It's
different
no
future.
longer your current. Like, it's the Biff thing, basically.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy when you start playing around with that too, because you don't know what's happening anymore.
All of a sudden, Berenstain Bears is spelled differently.
Right,
Dude,
right.
And Kit Kat has a hyphen in between it.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, in my reality.
Oh dear God.
What? Did they take the hyphen away?
That was it reminds me of a conversation that I had with a friend where outside these walls nothing else is going on right now. Nothing's been rendered until we open up that door and start walking through. And like the FPS and like the resolution is really good in the simulation.
That's wild.
Can you imagine that? Like nothing else is going on other than what we have going on right now.
You're sending me into an existential place.
We
man.
didn't exist 5 minutes ago.
That's kind of a Buddhist thought where like, what time is it right now? It's now.
It's now.
What time was it like 2 weeks ago? It was also now back then when you were there.
Yep.
In the future, it'll also be now. There's only one time.
Well, you're fucking with the butterfly effect.
Oh yeah.
So you know what this means?
Huh.
We need people to keep listening to the show because then that means we exist every time they listen to the podcast.
That's right. Because
Oh.
and they
Join
and,
their
This now
reality,
will be now
and we
again.
exist with them.
and if they don't listen, then they won't exist themselves.
Yes, because we won't be part of it either.
So make sure to tell your friends if they want to exist, listen to FuzzJockRadio.
That. I hope no one takes that as a threat.
And I hope that. Yeah. I hope that's not pretentious. I was just going to say pretentious.
No,
but
it's
like-
not pretentious at all. Don't worry.
Context, all context.
That's a nice existence you got there. Yeah, it'd be a shame if something would have happened to it.
Man. I thought of a segue that I was planning on doing,
It's gone now.
and I totally forgot to do it. And I totally forget what that segue was, but I know that I had a segue for something.
Segways are for getting around when you don't want to walk.
You know who else are losers?
Not us.
LAFC?
The LA soccer team.
Yes,
Unfortunately.
LAFC was defeated in the conference championship to the Seattle Sounders. So they will play in the MLS Cup final against Toronto FC on November 10th. And I think people should tune in. It was a good game, even though LAFC lost. It was a fantastic game. Seattle Sounders are a sound team, so they will be really exciting to see in the finals. So I hope you all check out soccer. Come on, watch soccer. I promise you, it's not that bad.
What's happening?
Oh, you guys all know what that means.
What?
It's
I know what that means.
fuzzy memory trivia time.
Yay.
This is where I ask you guys questions and you guys answer them in in an order.
And we get points.
And then if you get the answer, you get a point.
The more points you get, then you get the shield.
And then if you don't get the answer, then somebody else can steal that answer. Or no, you don't want to steal their answer because that was a wrong answer.
Don't do
But
that.
you can steal the question and get the point. And
So Family Feud rules, kind of.
something.
Yeah.
And then we have a Dylan question.
Sometimes.
Dylan, think of a sports question. We'll call on you at the last minute.
Okay, he's nodding.
Okay, he's nodding, so everybody knows that he is ready to go. I need to bring up the sports trivia.
Totally ready to go.
Yeah, just like me.
Yeah. We're so
always
ready to go.
Hut, hike.
Yes.
Conversate, guys, while I bring up the scores here.
Blah, blah,
Anyway.
blah.
Do you guys remember the scores?
It was Halloween this last week.
Oh,
I got to go trick-or-treating with my son. It was a joyous occasion.
yeah.
Aw,
Yeah.
What did he dress up as?
Detective Pikachu.
that's awesome.
It was. It was very awesome. I had some adults that were handing out candy wearing masks, and they may have imbibed some alcohol or beer at some point, but they wanted to call me Banana Man.
Banana Man.
Banana Man.
Funny.
And so I said trick or treat, and they gave me some candy.
As they should.
Mm-hmm. And then
I
they called me
gave out
Banana
candy.
Man again, so then they hand me more candy. It was a good deal.
You know what else happened?
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween did. And
Yeah.
daylight savings time, and that's
Daylight
why.
savings.
Oh, that's nice.
That's probably why I'm stuck behind things
Mm-hmm.
like walls
That's where it came from?
of thoughts
Yeah.
of what's going on. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, J-Mez is up 9. Sea.Dubbz is up 8. Our guests have 3. And unfortunately, there's not guests all the time, so their
So
score.
I've got to do a comeback.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which you can.
If anyone
You
can.
could easily win all of this in one night.
I doubt it, man.
You never know.
Nah, we're really smart about everything, so we answer so many questions.
Yeah. We're brilliant.
Yeah.
That's why we have high scores.
This is an even episode, so Sea.Dubbz goes first. Which country won the first ever soccer World Cup in 1930?
I'm gonna go with Germany.
Incorrect. J-Mez.
It was Argentina.
Incorrect. Al.
Some crazy Brazilians.
Incorrect. Uruguay.
Uruguay. The Uruguay connection.
They're a good team.
J-Mez.
Yes.
Question number 2.
Yes.
Who is the NFL's all-team leading rusher?
Bo Jackson.
Incorrect. Al.
Emmitt Smith.
Correct. Bonus. This one has a bonus question. How many yards?
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh dear God, it's like 18,000 something. I have no idea.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
You better do what he says, man.
3, 2, 1.
18,321 is incorrect. Sea.Dubbz for the steal of the bonus.
18. I'm gonna go with 20,021.
Incorrect. J-Mez for the steal.
18,700.
$1.
One and one.
Incorrect. And we're going to have a little spin here on the in this game. It's a fuzzy spin. Al got it close enough with 18,321. It was actually 18,355.
Oh,
I'm
off
giving
by a
it-
couple.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah, so
Does that count
2
for a point? Come
that
on, man.
totally counts for a point.
Yeah, that's 2 points then.
Ooh,
2
comeback
points.
time.
That is awesome. Sea.Dubbz. Oh, no. Alex. Al. Call
Sup,
me
dog?
Alex, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Which Jamaican sprinter won gold medals at the 100, 200, and 4x1 relay team at 3 consecutive Olympic Games from 2008 to 2016?
Usain Bolt.
Correct.
Yep.
So you got now 3 points. Guys.
Comeback's
you gonna let
happening.
Him, you going to let him do this?
You must watch lots of sports.
1, 2, 3. Question number 4?
Yeah.
Question number 4, Sea.Dubbz. Which Australian tennis player is the only player to complete the Grand Slam, winning all 4 major titles in the same season on 2 occasions?
I have no clue. Marcy's Playground.
Incorrect.
Oh, close.
James.
Pete Sampras.
Incorrect.
Pete Sampras was Australian. Australian? What, do I know any Australian tennis players that won a Grand Slam? What years? Is it okay if I ask what years it was?
We have not had that that before. Nobody even asked if that was a rule, and I'm going to say yes. You can ask what years, and it's 1962 and 1969.
Well, that
knew
throws
that. I
any of
wouldn't
my,
have said
any of my
Pete
real
Sampras.
guesses out of there.
Right.
Nope.
Nothing.
Daryl Strawberry.
Incorrect. Rob Levere.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just at the tip of my tongue.
Shucks. It's James.
Okay, James.
Yes.
You ready?
Yes. And confident. Very confident.
Ooh, how many? No,
So confident right
I
now.
already asked that question. I remember that one.
Ooh.
Which American football team won the first 2 Super Bowls?
Oh, you already asked this one too.
Did they? Okay.
Totally.
No, he didn't.
I don't like the answer to that question either.
I don't either.
I refuse to even
So,
listen to
James,
that.
answer it.
So the Patriots.
Incorrect.
Who gets the first steal?
The Green Bay asshats. Sorry, Packers.
Correct.
Yes.
And the bonus question:
Oh, you're gonna get this too.
what years?
I believe it was at the beginning of the 60s, so it would have been either 60 and 61 or 61 and 62.
Incorrect. Sea.Dubbz for the steal.
So it would have been 67 and 68.
Correct. So with that round, Al got a point, and Sea.Dubbz got a point, and that wraps us up with regular question rounds of fuzzy trivia. Dylan, you ready? You got a question for us?
He does, I bet.
Yeah, he's coming. He's on his
All
way over
right.
here, all the way
Oh,
from
man.
one end of the
Riding
studio.
his horse.
Yeah, the studio's so big.
All right.
This is a buzzing.
All right.
Yeah, it's buzzing.
It's buzzing.
In 1999, the Minnesota Timberwolves had their inaugural season. Who was their very first draft pick?
Ooh, that's a good one. I wish I had a game show.
Their very first draft pick. God, I know this. Ding ding. Christian
Nope.
Leitner.
Nope.
Dang.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay, who was it?
I don't know.
Yeah?
Isaiah Ryder?
Nope.
Who?
You got a guess?
Nope.
No.
I don't have one either.
The answer is Pooh Richardson.
Pooh
Oh
Richardson.
yeah.
That old bean.
Man. I remember that
Pooh
guy.
Richardson.
Pooh Richardson.
And that rounds up our fuzzy memory trivia. We have Jammers at 9, Sea.Dubbz at 9,
Oh. Tied.
and the guests at 7.
Whoa.
Holy crap!
So
Come back.
that was 9, 9, and 7. That's awesome. That was an awesome round of fuzzy trivia.
So awesome.
And, that marks the end of the show. And I would like to say that was a awesome show. Even though everybody is losers.
Not us.
I thought we
Dude,
were the
I'm a
main,
loser.
I thought
It's
we were
okay.
the main losers. That's why those. That's
I
what we
don't
talked
know
about
about you
earlier.
guys, but I'm gonna
not
be cool.
being
and not be a
unprofessional
loser.
and stuff, But no,
Oh yeah,
Real
we're
loser
we're
James
professional.
accepted.
We're professional unprofessionals.
not losers.
No.
But there were a lot of losing battles.
Yeah.
And but let's not go on a bad note. Let's look forward to winning this next week. We have a big week ahead of us, guys. No matter what you're doing,
No matter what you're doing,
just remember it's a big one.
it's a big one.
And JMS, do you have any final thoughts?
So many final thoughts. Man, where do you even start with a thing like that? I guess if I could pick just one, it would be.
Sea.Dubbz, final thoughts?
Yeah, I hope everyone out there rows the boat on Saturday at 11 a.m.
That'd be
Amen.
fun.
Amen. Likewise.
And
Likewise.
Al, once again, thank you very much for being our special guest host.
Thanks for having me.
We don't call people just guests on this show. Everybody's a host.
Sure.
Any final thoughts?
Go Vikings, Gophers, Timberwolves, Twins this coming season. All that.
Minnesota sports.
Go sports.
Heck yeah. And my final thoughts is that I don't have many. Thank you for tuning into FuzzJockRadio.
FuzzJockRadio!